Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. Before we jump into this, there is a link at the bottom of the screen. Tenkar's there's tavern.games/LOTFP125 sale. Lamentations of the Flame Princess PDFs on sale for $1.25 a piece over at drive-thru. Sale goes on, I think, till next Monday or Tuesday. Don't wait too long. It's an amazing value, some amazing stuff. Some less amazing. At $1.25 though, you don't pick up the monolith at the end of time or some shit like that. Red and Pleasant Land by our miscreant over here, Zach Smith. Excellent piece of work. I would highly recommend it. I would say Vornheim overrated, but in any case, let me make another preamble before we delve into this Zach Smith, Gen Con, Peter Adkison lawsuit. There are people out there, maybe unhinged, maybe just with an axe to grind. They're, Tenkar is a Zach apologist, a Zach defender. He defends Zach Smith. So let me explain to you. Probably not for the last time, because apparently I got to do this frequently. My personal, I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm speaking about me personally. My opinion of Zach Smith, based upon my personal interactions with Zach, records of which I have kept over the years, because personally, I think Zach's a piece of shit. Personal opinion. From my own interactions. I don't need to rely upon anybody else's words. These are my words. These are my interactions with Zach. Going so far as to a recent video where Zach decided to pipe in, and I pointed out that Zach doesn't have honest conversations with me, and is this a chance to have an honest conversation? He's like, oh yeah, we can have an honest conversation. And I pointed out, well, you're blocking me, so I can't reply to your comments. At which point, he deleted all his comments and has been quiet since. So, Zach will gaslight. Zach will delete shit. Zach needs to manipulate, in my opinion, conversations. Now, that being said, has Zach been convicted of a crime, a criminal offense? That's my knowledge. No. Has he been accused in civil cases of offenses that could be considered criminal? Certainly. Has he been convicted of a crime? No. So, I am not a defender of Zach by saying he's not been convicted of a crime. I am stating a fact. Do I think he's a shitty person? Yes. Would I piss on him if he was on fire? No. Would I want to socialize with him? Would I want my family around him? No. But until things are, first of all, he's never even been charged in a criminal court. Civil court? Yes, he has cases going. He's got more cases going than the average bear. But civil court is not criminal court. It is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It is preponderance of the evidence. And if you don't know what that means, look it up. It means, yeah, you're more likely than not. It's not proof. All right? And anybody that says it is, well, that's the reason why we have some of these lawsuits. So, why is this one getting dismissed with prejudice in the Superior Court of the state of Washington for King County? Why? Because the defendants, Gen Con, Peter Adkison, asked the court for a motion for termination sanctions. Now, apparently, looking into this, the court has reviewed all pleadings. Plaintiff is Zach, contends that he has fully and completely responded now to defendant's discovery request. But the record clearly indicates otherwise. Plaintiff has identified 115 people with discoverable information related to his claims, but has failed to respond to what the subjects of that information are for 111 of those 115 names, leaving the defendants to simply guess at the potential witnesses and testimony plaintiff may have. It is possible that plaintiff does not know anything about these people, but in that case, it appears that he has sued a number of them without any factual basis. If he does not know what information they have, that should have been disclosed long since. Plaintiff has also been asked to identify the numerical basis for the $2.85 million. That's like an Austin Powers number. Dollar damage claim he has brought against defendant, but plaintiff has simply declined to identify and quantify this claim despite the direct discovery requests from defendant. He did indicate that answering this discovery would require him to examine the documents that he has produced. That is indeed plaintiff's obligation when he is producing discovery, particularly when that discovery has been compelled. If plaintiff does not know the basis of his damage claim, that should have been disclosed long since. Plaintiff has been asked to identify those who allegedly banned him or canceled contracts with him because of defendant's statements. The issue of causation is absolutely essential in this case. The court, now this is interesting, this court previously dismissed plaintiff's complaint for failure to set forth any explanation of how defendant's statements caused his injury. This ruling was overturned on appeal because the Court of Appeals Division 1 ruled that in a complaint, a plaintiff need only set forth allegations of causations or of facts from which an inference fairly may be drawn. That evidence on these material points will be introduced at trial, and hence that it was sufficient for the plaintiff to allege that defendant exercised a strong influence in the gaming world and that their statement caused his enumerated damages. But now the plaintiff is required to respond to critical discovery of what evidence there is on the material point of causation, and now he says that he does not and cannot know whether defendants had anything to do with most of the harm that he claims, and refuses to say what he does know did cause some of the harm he alleges. This is wholly inadequate. The court previously awarded defendants attorney fees as compensation for the sums defendant have expended to obtain the discovery, which the court has now twice ordered compelled. The court set due dates for these sanctions, but plaintiff does not dispute he has not paid a penny of those sanctions, and indeed now indicates he does not believe he is required to do so, unless the court certifies the amounts due as a final judgment, although he also correctly indicates that such fees are not subject to the rules that he quotes. The court notes that this is not only a novel argument legally, one which contradicts the court's power to enforce discovery obligations and compensate the party injured by refusal to provide discovery, but also is a claim plaintiff did not bother to make on the two prior occasions when sanctions were requested, litigated, and awarded. The court has warned plaintiff repeatedly at this point that failure to comply with its discovery orders and pay compensatory sanctions could lead to much more serious sanctions. At this point, it is impossible on this record to view the plaintiff's refusal to provide essential discovery about the basis for his suit as anything other than willful and deliberate. In addition to what the court has noted above, plaintiff has indicated willful and deliberate non-compliance with his discovery obligations by deluging the defendants with irrelevant and unrequested items such as pleadings in other cases. He has also demonstrated willful and deliberate non-compliance with discovery sanctions by making retaliatory threats to defendant and defendant's counsel. The prejudice to defendants is obvious. They cannot determine who to depose and on what topics, prepare for summary judgment or trial, or even learn the basis for plaintiff's damages and causation claim in his complaint. And at this point, the court does not see what other options it has. Orders to compel have been ineffective. Compensatory sanctions have been ineffective. Continuance is not a remedy for a plaintiff's refusal to disclose the basis for essential elements of its claims. The court has considered every possible alternative sanction and sees no lesser sanction that will have any effect whatsoever. It is now clear that no sanction short of dismissal with prejudice is likely to deter Mr. Smith from engaging in future discovery abuses or violations of this court's order. Ouch. Ouch. So now they quote another case. Let me move to the end. Based on the court's findings, the court grants defendant's motion for show cause order and discovery sanctions and orders the following. Mr. Smith's lawsuit is hereby dismissed with prejudice. Because of the significance of this sanction, the court does not order further monetary sanctions. Dated May 10th, 2023. So, that's effectively a holy shit. My God. You don't want to piss off the court. They sound like they're kind of pissed. So, that's the news on Zach. Now, again, I'm going to go back to this thread that was on the OSR RPG Facebook group, where yours truly was referred to as a Yahtzee sympathizer, along with my cohorts, which I guess all my co-hosts. So, I just thought I'd address something. So, Matthias, can I call you Matt? I'm going to call you Matt because I'm sure somebody will get this message back to you. So I'm going to figure out. I'll make it short and sweet. Matthias, I strongly suggest that you make a public apology for your accusations against me, against Kelsey, against my crew. Now, why am I suggesting that? Because I believe I know your true identity on Facebook, your true account, Matt, and Chicago area, fan of a certain RPG that was probably the most popular OSR RPG, but now there's one that's threatening it. And assume that you have this second account to be a troll account, so shit doesn't go back on you, your wife, who probably doesn't know you're trolling people like this. So, I don't mind if you use your troll account to make the apology, but bite the bullet. Make the apology. Admit that you were wrong, that you didn't do any research, and you were making shit up. Or, I will allow my team of investigators to continue their research, and I will link the accounts once I'm 100% sure. I'm at like 98% sure. Kind of like, I'm almost at that ivory pure percent sure. But I don't want to get the wrong person involved in this. That would be horrible. I'm sure you don't have an issue with that if you were doing it, but I have an issue with that. But we don't have to get to that. Just make a public apology, man. Make a public apology. Be the bigger man than you appear to be. That's all. So, folks, on that note, there's a live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Myself, my wife, Rach, Gamers Health. Should be a good one. It usually is a good one. No special guests. We've had special guests this week. We had Phil Reed last night. We had Kelsey on Wednesday. So, folks, be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will be back again tonight, 8 p.m. See you then.